Welcome to the Veterans in Politics Talk Show. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.
Welcome to the joint Veterans Endorsement interviews for non-judicial candidates. At the outset, we would like to formally recognize and thank you for our sponsoring organizations for making today's event possible. Judge Mary Perry, Clark County District Court Family Division Department P. Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court Family Division Department S. Veterans in Politics International, National Veterans Association. We also extend our sincere appreciation to our additional sponsors and community partners whose support helps ensure a professional, fair, and transparent endorsement process. We are honored to have all of you here with us today. Before we begin the interview, let's review the rules and format. First, panel members or the panel member will introduce himself by stating his name and the organization they represent. Next, each candidate will introduce themselves or himself. Please include the office for which you are running and explain why you are seeking that position. We will then proceed to the interview portion. Please remember, this is an interview. All responses must be directed to the panel. In the interest of fairness, all participants' time limits will be strictly enforced. Each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer each question. When you have 30 seconds remaining, you will be shown a yellow card. When your time is expired, will be shown a blue card. You may finish your sentence, but you will then be asked to conclude. After all panel members have completed their questions, each candidate will have 1 minute to make a closing statement.
All right, let's get this party started. My name is Steve Major, United States Navy, Veterans in Politics International. Good morning.
Morning.
So I usually like to start it out with the definition of the role. Tell us, first, define the county treasurer's job in one sentence, and then tell us where this office stops and the comptrollers, the assessors, and the recorders begin.
Clark County Treasurer is responsible for collecting the property tax, SIDS, and also they're responsible for the investment fund. And they don't have much power. Like the assessors trying to say that they can help with the property taxes, people not paying them or reduce them or something. That's part of the treasurers. And it has to be approved anyways by the county commissioners. So it stops where treasurer is defined by what's in the Nevada revised statutes and what the powers given to them by the county commissioners.
So voters typically get these positions confused.
Correct.
And as you're running for treasurers, in your travels, how do you intend on making sure that the voters don't confuse the offices?
I let them know exactly what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. And there's no office that will overlap. That's dictated by the Nevada revised statutes and by the county commissioners what I'm allowed to do.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Heather Flooring with Nevada's Veterans Association. My question is, day one of your priorities, setting aside the bigger campaign promises for a moment, if you walk into the treasurer's office on day one, what was the very first thing you would do? What does your first 30 days look like? And how would you build trust and continuality with the staff already in place?
Well, the staff is already in place. You have to get a lot of people that's going to watch your back. It's a hostile work environment right now at the Clark County Treasurer's Office. So if I worked with the staff there right now, I would not be successful. I have to get my own managers, get my own people I'm allowed to put in by statute, so I can change out some people, not everyone. And my first 30 days is going to be starting to work on getting the software program updated. They're using Ascend right now. It's totally outdated. Their Mentum program is more current. They're actually wasting time. There's a lot of times they can't even work because the system crashes. They have put patches. They're relying on IT people to write program patches for the current software. So you're looking at Clark County coming down to a halt down in the treasurer's office. So that's my 30 days, and I'm going to start an internal audit of the Clark County government.
Mr. Tracy, I'm going to throw you a curve. One of my pet projects and something that is absolutely needed in the Valley is a mass transit system. Now, I know as county treasurer, you don't have any power over this, but somebody's going to ask you, and I want to plant a seed in that fertile ground of a brain that you have. This valley is growing population-wise by leaps and bounds. The highway system is completely overwhelmed now. That's not counting all of the new places that are being built. We have a football team. We have a women's professional basketball team. We will be getting an NBA team. We have a superior hockey team. We have a baseball team coming. They're building a soccer stadium. Do you support and would you plant the seeds to talk to people who are in that position about building a light rail system throughout this valley? Now, how that ties into veterans' concerns is we have this beautiful state-of-the-art veterans hospital in North Las Vegas that nobody can get to. The transportation system here is antiquated at best, and I'm being very diplomatic on that. I'm a transportation specialist, and that's why it's on my mind and in my heart. Would you, as a citizen of Clark County, welcome the thought of building a light rail system in the valley?
Sure, would, as long as it's done right and properly. Definitely. I went down to San Diego about 2 weekends ago, and I can hop on a bus from the international airport, go downtown, jump on a trolley, and go all the way to the border. For $2.50, you're allowed to transfer, I think, within 2 hours. You can't go back the same way, but opposite ways. And I thought that was great. If we can get some type of system like that here, everything ran on time, everything ran smooth, and they didn't have any problems. And it runs into the rail systems and so forth like that. And I think that would be good here. Because you can't get around. The bus system, I know that. You can't get around. And like you said, traffic, all the construction, everything going on, the city's expanding. You have a lot of people, can't get certain places. They need to get there, like that beautiful veterans out there in North Las Vegas. Why didn't they think about that when they built it, about getting transportation out there to it?
I agree. So just so we can make sure this is on the record that you do support thought processes going forth for building a light rail system here in Las Vegas.
Yes, and if I may say one more thing about that. I, as a Clark County treasurer, would be responsible for the investment fund of Clark County. And I do not see why not some of that money could be invested towards the system that you're looking for. Why not? A lot of people, COVID passed. Many people don't know this. Clark County received $740 million in 2021, 2022 for COVID relief funds. They put $140 million in the county investment fund. Where's the other $600 million? And I'm going to find out where all that money went, because it is stipulated by law that can only be used for certain things. And I'm going to definitely get to the bottom of it and find out where every penny went.
Sue Christensen, Veterans in Politics International. Do you see your role as strictly collecting revenue or as protecting taxpayers from financial loss, and where do you draw the line?
Well, what I'm going to do is, like I said, do an audit. I'm going to implement FAU, Fraud, Abuse, Waste Unit. And it's going to be real time. It's going to be AI generated. So we're going to go through and post everything on a website, specific website, FAU website, so everybody can see where it goes. I can't do anything about it legally, but I can show people what's going on in there and hopefully wake up people's eyes that their money's being spent and wasted. And I'm going to do audit all the time. And I don't know how many years I'm going to go back. I might have to go back many, many years because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of money being wasted. And what goes on now is the budgets, people present their budgets to the county commissioners. And what they do, end of the year is coming, oh my gosh, I got $100,000 left in my budget. I better spend all this I can as quickly as possible. And they spend it on God knows who what. So they have show no money, I need more people, so their budget's increased and they get more people. Well, I'm going to check into all that, and it's going to be all made public so people can see where the money's coming, where it's going in real time.
Ray Ann Tobin on behalf of Veterans, Nevada Veterans Association. Since the 2022 treasurer race, what has changed in your plan, qualifications, or understanding of the office?
What has changed is the office has become more of a bigger mess. The person currently running it really doesn't know what he's doing. He's hired abundant of managers, too many managers, really. He's really top heavy. He's trying to have them fix everything that he's messed up. Like I said, the program is outdated. He was supposed to implement the program back in 2023. He didn't know how to do it, was scared to do it, so he put it off until 2028. By then, the program's going to be 6 years old, the new one, the Augmentum program. It's going to be 6 years old, so it might even be outdated by 2028. So we need to get in and check that because they're running a program that breaks down, that slows down. So you're losing manpower, man hours, and time. Probably millions of dollars a year is being lost because of this outdated program that's in there now. And the main thing what happened is when I lost my race by 4.5 points, is a gentleman that was on my campaign. He's worked there for a long time. He's the actual person that did all the books at the end of the year for the county treasurer. And he retired because he didn't want to be in a hostile work environment. And with him, he took a lot of knowledge. And he's on my campaign again. They actually called him up to 1.5 years, every couple months, come back, come back, come back. We need help, we need help, we need help. But he's not. But he's on my team, and he'll be there with me, and we'll get everything done. We'll get everybody trained that needs to be trained on the new program, if that's Augmentum, or a new one better, more up-to-date one. Because 8-year program, you know how software goes. If it's 8 years old, it's old. So we're going to check into that and do that. That's part of my new program. Also, AI. We're going to implement AI to do a lot of things, and it might cost some people jobs, but it won't. I'm not going to make any people lose jobs over AI. What I'm going to do is transfer them. I don't know if you know this or not, a lot of veterans will lose their homes because they cannot locate them because of their tax is due on their homes that's overdue, and they're going to sell it at auction. And I'm going to make sure we have more people staffed into that. And as treasurer, I checked out that I can do certain things within the law about creating repayment programs for people. And that's what I want to do to make sure the veterans and seniors don't lose their homes, that they're found. Their families are found, they're found, so they don't lose their homes because they can't afford the property tax, or they can't be found, their house is sold for overdues. So that's a lot of things I'm going to do that I've had different than I was going to do in 2022.
Follow up to that, the gentleman that you're speaking of, if you are successful, he's on your campaign. Is that somebody that would come back on as an employee if you were to succeed? And also, if you're successful and you do implement AI, how do you see some of the AI implementation? How would you handle some of the security concerns that come with AI?
AI, you always have to have people watching that. People doesn't realize, AI, well, it's going to lose my job and stuff like, well, you still have to have people double check AI because AI is not always right. I don't know if anyone uses AI here. I use it for a podcast for my two dogs. And sometimes you got to redo it over and over and over. So you always have to have people watching the AI to double check. AI is probably going to start off doing the end of the books where they put everything together and finalize everything. And then, I'm sorry, what was the other question?
the gentleman that you have on your campaign, is that somebody that would come back on staff, or is he just working simply
He'll
on
be
your campaign?
contracted. He'll be contracted out. He's retired. He's traveling the world, so he likes to do that. So he says about a year and a half that he'll be there to help out to get everything taken care of that needs to be taken care of and get us on the right path.
Steve Major, veterans in politics. So thank you for that question. Good pivot, or good segue. It's a two-part. First, I want to respond to your and get your input on your AI. I use AI heavily. I've got 2 right now that I work with, and they're amazing. And the reason why they're amazing is because I've taught them to be amazing. So in your role as treasurer, and you're going to implement AI, would you participate in a beginning process? Because AI you have to treat as an employee. You have to train it. So would you invest that time to train the AI to work in the treasurer's office?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, because it's got to know what its parameters are, what it's not supposed to do, what it's supposed to do, what it's supposed to follow. Yes, I totally agree with you.
Second question, right? And it evolves around cybersecurity. So implementing AI, this particular office holds a lot of financial records of every property owner in Clark County. What would be your incident response plan if you were hit by ransomware tomorrow, if you were in that role?
Well, we'd have to find out where it came from, where it breached us at, so we have an understanding how it got in and what files it's attacked, and we'll hopefully work our way back from there. And depending on what their backup is, we would try to close it off and see what the latest backup we did was at. Or if you could, like cybersecurity, if you could actually build AI when you're getting hit by something, that it could probably start shutting things down so that it won't get that far. You never know what's the possibilities with AI. Like you said, you got to train it. But that's what you do. Hopefully your backups are good, and you have several backups at different times throughout the day that you can go back, and because you got to find out when exactly it got through and what it hit. Because if you don't know when it got through and what it hit, you're just guessing at stuff, and you're going to be shutting things down that doesn't need to be shut down.
Thank you so much for your answer.
You're welcome.
Hi, good morning, Heather again. You have talked in the past about creating a smartphone app to make it easier for residents to pay their taxes. Walk us through what it would be like, who would build it, how it would be funded, and how you would ensure it remains accessible to residents who are not tech savvy or do not have smartphones, or some of them don't have both, like my father.
Well, we would build it to make sure it's easy for you to operate, because a lot of times you get an app and it's not user-friendly. So we want to make it as simple as possible. You can store your cards on it. You don't have to store your cards on it. How you get funding for the treasurer's office, either there's money there already when you come in and you determine what you want to do for that year as the treasurer, or you can go, if you want to do it first year and you already have a budget and you need extra money, you can go to the county commissioners and present the budget for that item, or you have to wait till next year to include it in you. So I would have to see what's their currents, because once I get in, you always got to see what the current apps are out there. If I pick something now, a year from now, it could be outdated or so forth. But I want to make it easy. Why I want to do that is a lot of people use the phone now. They use the phone, and I want to make sure people that are paying don't be charged outrageous surcharge. I ran into a gentleman about 6 months ago. He paid his bill, the entire bill, over the phone. He was charged like $53 service charge fee. Now, that was made by the treasurer that's currently in there. He was assistant treasurer with the company that does it. And what's her name? Fitzpatrick, that was in there, that never showed up for 4 years. I don't know if you know that or not. She never showed up at her office one time in 4 years. So actually, the gentleman that's in there now run the office. But they're the ones who made the contract with the person that charges the fees for over the phone. So I'm going to check into that too, because that's outrageous. They shouldn't be paying that much fees just to pay like a $1,700 to $2,200 bill, $50. That's ridiculous. So, but the app will take care of all that. You can use it anywhere in the world, because if you have Wi-Fi, you have your app. It's going to be user friendly. You'll be able to get in. You'll just be able to take your property tax. You'll be able to look at, if it's overdue, whatever. Something very simple and easy. People that text, you could probably build in the text too that you can pay by certain aspects. Type in code so and so or whatever, it enters the system or something like that. Put your address in. And there's other things that do text that are pretty up to date too. I don't know if you're familiar with some of them, but they're pretty neat that you can pay just by texting. You can pay your bills, some of them. So we'll check into that too. But we want to make it simpler for you because people shouldn't really be coming down to the office. They should be, taking care of where they're at in the world. So thank you.
Mr. Tracy, I'm going to start off by apologizing that I did not properly introduce myself. My name is Gary White. I am the representing both the Montford Point Marine Association and Veterans in Politics International. Now, that being said, please forgive me. But more important, what we're talking about as far as getting the county treasurer's office intact and ready to go and honest. And then we're talking about the needs of the city or the county. There's so much that can be done other than a transportation system, which we are both in agreement on. What else do you think can be done within the next 5 years to improve the quality of life here in the Las Vegas Valley?
Just the street improvements. It's like, I don't know, you see one street tore up, they put a little pipe in, come back a couple years, put a bigger, why don't they put the big pipe in first? I don't understand. Where's the planning? It seems, I know it's ran by a certain party, but, is it done that way on purpose for people to make money? And then they put all these islands up everywhere. So now you're hurting businesses because people have to drive all the way down the road so they can have a turn, do U-turn, come back into a business that used to be the double, the yellows, the broken yellows, so you can pull in there and make your left turns. So I think that's something that needs to be looked at. It's so funny too is they build them with curbs. So here's the police cars. They're going to take more hits, more damage on the suspensions. I'm pretty sure parts and wear and tear on the police cars are going to go up more because they have to go over that center divider now in all the streets. This is ridiculous. Who's planning this construction? Why? Why isn't it done right the first time? It should be done the right first time. I think that will alleviate a lot of the problems. And also, I don't know why they even put the stadium there. It's just, they close down roads. It's just, I don't know where the planning's gone. Allegiant, well, both. It's going to be both now because you have plenty of room out there. There's mass transit that can put people out there quickly. That's why they didn't want to build it, but they don't think, technology's there. Move the people out there. People got to drive out there. Well, there's ways to get people out there, and there's plenty of space, and they could put more parking space out there too. Look at up north Las Vegas, up to the Speedway up there where they have EDC and stuff. That's a huge mess. It's like they get these things and they just, traffic? Well, we don't care about traffic. It'll work itself out, So, yeah. I stay away from all that when everything comes in.
Funny you mentioned the islands in the middle of the median. Where are you from? What was your hometown?
Garden Grove, California.
Okay. No, the reason I asked is because it was one of the things that I found kind of strange when I moved to Las Vegas were the islands, and you were forced to make U-turns and turning lanes and all this for no reason at all. But my biggest thing to make this place grow, because it's going to grow on its own, but I don't want it to grow as crabgrass as opposed to a mowed lawn. Transportation is a big thing. What could we do to improve in the next 3 years. Now, transportation system like light rail is going to take 5, 10 years to complete. But what can we do now without going to all these magic things like AI? What can we improve the bus system? Can we improve the highway system? What do you think?
Well, it had to be the bus system because that's what's in place now. If you got to add more routes, more buses, more frequency, that's what you have to do. Because the more frequent they come, the more chance people have to get on them. And if you have more routes, there's more opportunity for that people to take the bus there. A lot of people walk a mile or two to get the bus, and then sometimes you got to transfer. You got to walk a ways too. So not all the buses, like we know, go every place. And there should be some direct route buses. You know, you get on, it just takes you there. And those should be in certain places throughout the whole valley. Like you said, you want to go to the veterans up there in North Las Vegas, there should be certain hubs throughout the county that you get on that one bus and it takes you right there. Right there. Doesn't stop, just goes. And those could be smaller buses depending on how many people get on it. Even if there's one person, that one veteran, it's served that person. That was probably the most important appointment they ever had. We don't know, but it got them there without stopping, just direct. So if you can add some more direct buses, that would be great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sue Christensen, Veterans in Politics International. What specific steps would you take to reduce penalties, interest, and fees that push homeowners into foreclosure status?
I would take a look. I haven't looked into that, but I'll take a look into it and see what the statutes are, the power the treasurer has. And if he has the power to do certain things, I'll be doing that to benefit the homeowner. It's not the government's home. Property tax, you're taxed for everything. You know, tax up everything. It's ridiculous. Tax for this, tax for that, tax. Everything's taxed. So that's one thing I'll check into. And if I have the power to do something about it, I'll do something about it. Because I do have the power, like I said earlier, about if you owe money, I can work out with you a whole new payment plan. I can do that as treasurer. I can have you come in. We can discuss what your problem is, or I go to your home. Whatever needs to be done, that we can see what you can afford, and that's what we can do. As a treasurer, I'm allowed to do that. I've already checked the statutes. I'm allowed to do that. I can't make it zero. I can't forgive it, but I could say $1 a month if I wanted to. So, but that's what I'll do. I'll definitely check into that. The payments, I'll see if I can waive them, the payment, the fees, the penalties, and all that. See what I'm allowed to do. But I'll check the statutes because everything's governed. The treasurer's all governed by statutes. What I can and cannot do, just like the audits. The audits, I can only audit departments that have their funds go in and out of the treasurer's office. So if I make a payment from any fund, like the assessor's office, I can audit the assessor's office because I'm making the payments for them. If I receive money for them, if I do the banking for them, anything going in and out of the treasurer's office, I can audit that department. So yes, I will check into that and see what I'm allowed to do, and if I'm allowed to do, I'll be waiving those fees and everything. Depends on the circumstances, though. I'm not going to be fooled by someone. You know, we're going to definitely check into it, and if everything looks good, if I can waive them, they're waived.
Rayanne Tobin on behalf of Nevada Veterans Association. For a moment there, a bit ago, it sounded like you were starting to tamper with our state flower there, the cone, but it might still be safe. We'll keep an eye on that. How would we mentioned transportation? How would you keep taxpayer fund investment decisions prudent, liquid, legally compliant, and insulated from partisan pressure, especially with transportation?
Is the investment fund you're talking about the Clark County Investment Fund that the Treasurer's Office is responsible for? Right now it's out to a private firm. We'll bring that back inside in-house. So, because it was sent out to a private fund from the gentleman that's in there now when he was assistant treasurer and the treasurer that was at that time. So we're going to take a look at it, and I'm definitely going to audit them. I'm going to definitely audit them, see what's going on, see what their fees were and everything, if they're reasonable and customary. So transportation, like I told the other gentleman, Mr. White, is that we can see, get a plan. I would put a plan together, and I'd present it to the board, commissioner boards. Say, hey, this is what we have. This is what we're generating through our investment fund. Why can't we take so much of this and put it towards the mass transit? That's why we need to elect 4 new commissioners, so we can take over and we can do things right now in Clark County and get it on track.
Steve Major, Veterans in Politics. I'm going to take a little pivot here, slight pivot. I want to get to know who you are, and I want to know why this office. So tell us your professional background. You're about to possibly walk into a position where the treasurer runs hundreds of people. They invest in billions of dollars. I want to know who you are, and I've done a little background, so I've seen the different roles that you've gone for candidacy for, but why this one?
Why this one? I ran into my friend, and also I was hearing treasurer's office. I wasn't doing things right. There's too much buddy system, giving contracts here, contracts there. Things aren't adding up. Things aren't adding up. How all of a sudden do you take the company away that does the processing for the credit cards, and all of a sudden they're over here? Or how does the investment funds go to this company now that the treasurer and assistant treasurer knows? So we need to get integrity, and that's what I've never changed my stance over the years. I've always been very conservative. Mitchell Tracy. I was born and raised in Southern California. I moved up to Northern California, got hired by an insurance company. I was a multi-line adjuster. So I would deal with homes, commercial buildings, RVs, anything you can think of, airplanes, whatever. And so I dealt with millions upon millions of dollars a year. And I used to have a signature worth $65,000. So if anything happened and I needed to take care of it right then and there, I just whip out a check, sign it, $65,000, put it in the system. So, and also when you get into a lot of the accidents that have like 15, 20 car pileup, what you have to do is you have to open up reserve funds for all those. So you have 15 cars, you have reserve funds for all those 15 cars. So if you have a large policy, that would cover all of them. And so you have to manage all that money that's coming in, coming out, going in, going out. And if 1 or 2 of those cars look like they're going to be, before you start repairing them, it's going to pop your limits. You can't, it's done. Nobody gets help. They have to all go do themselves. So it's managing the money. You have to manage the money. Same with the injuries I dealt with. You only have so much to work with. You have so many people. You got to manage the money as they come in. Different demands from different attorneys. You got to watch the funds. You got to know what's going in, what's going out. So you're dealing with all this money all the time. So that's where I got the money aspect, that accounting aspect, is from the multi-claims, dealing with all the money, all the different properties, people, injuries, fatalities, you name it. That has to do with anything that you can think of. And then I was in the Army Reserve, Air National Guard, back in 81 through 87, the old Greens, if you remember the Greens. The old Greens. So that's what I did. I was a combat medic for the field hospital. And so I did that. While I was doing that, also ran a limousine service. We had 3 limousines in the mid-'80s. And I also coached high school and junior high school basketball for 10 years. Westminster High School, Orange High School, Saddleback High School, all in the Orange County, California area. I was head junior varsity, head freshman, always assistant varsity. Whenever you're part of the program, no matter what level you're at, you're always assistant varsity. So if you were the Frost soft coach or JV coach, you're always assistant varsity. So you're always responsible for 2 games. You got to go to your own and the varsity. So that's what I've done there too. I've held in telecommunications. I was in the telecommunications for the Air Force National Guard, Air National Guard, Air Force Reserves. It was the old typewriter, coded, short, yes. And I held a top secret clearance there. So,
thank you, Mr. Tracy.
You're welcome.
Great. Heather again. So if elected at the end of your first term of county treasurer, how will you know if you have done a good job? What does success look like for you in this role? And what would you do? What would you want the residents of Clark County to say about you after the work you did for that term?
Well, hopefully I'll have the new system in place, so we're updated, we're moving smoothly, everybody's trained. I have AI. I've already reported a lot of fraud, so they're aware what their money's being spent on, so they can see, and they'll probably be thankful for that if they, we catch anything. And they know they can go to the website and see live. So when a check comes through my office, we'll flag it. If it's good, looks good, it'll be posted. If something looks funny, it'll go to our FOIU unit, and they'll look at it, and then they'll get a hold of me, and we'll check it out, do some research, make sure everything looks good on it, and then post it. So that's my accomplishments. Now, I'm going to keep track of the people. I'll know if they're happy with me or not. We'll do surveys, whatever it takes to get feedback from the people, make sure we're doing a good enough job for them. Any way we can improve, anything they don't like, dislike. Same with the workers. The workers don't get that. A lot of companies you work for nowadays, they don't care what you think. And they just do whatever, but not my workers, because I want to make sure they're happy. They're happy. They do a good job for me. I do a good job for them. Keep your workers happy. Not going to make them happy all the time, because some things got to get done. But in essence, you want to make sure they're part of your team.
Gary White, Veterans in Politics International, I was very, very pleased and surprised when you said how much of a people person position this can be. A lot of times we find ourselves as bean counters. We find ourselves as computer geeks. But one of the things that we have a tendency to fall away from and not understand is the importance of the human contact, the motivation, the things of that nature, the people business. How do you plan on expounding on that concept? How do you keep your people happy, motivated, things of that nature?
Oh, there'll be contests and so forth. That budget, they don't let you buy things because I have to buy it with my money, but I don't care. People do a good job, they're going to be rewarded. Car washes, whatever I think, or they'll put in what they like. Do they like gift cards or something? So maybe attendance for a whole month, you're here every day, not late, didn't take off anything, you get something. Maybe we'll have parties, more parties or something like that, donut day or something like that. Just the little things people like, like a pizza for the whole day, or I'll get a food truck to park outside, or something like that. But definitely got to take care of the people, because they're going to do a good job for me, and they know I got their back, they're going to have my back. And I work for the people, we the people. The people don't understand the politicians. I think they've lost that. They're too into themselves. They're just lost in everything. I'm not there for myself. I'm there for everybody else. I'm responsible. I'm there for them. I have my ideas. I'm open to ideas, but I get things done. I want to make the office honest. I want to make it integrity. I want to get it up to date. I don't want any hostile work environment like there is now. That's why my friend left, because he knew that he was in there. He ran in the primary, so he took a little bit of heat in the office for that. But he knew afterwards that was that, so he retired early. There should be no reason for that, any work site at all, any workplace, just because on your, political affiliation. And so we're going to make it a stress-free work environment. It's going to be stress, but it's I'm there to help you get through things. People have personal things. We'll make sure we take care of that how we best can, so they doesn't interfere with their job. Because a lot of times it does. But they're worried, if I take too much time off or whatever, something's going to happen. But there's ways to work around things, and you got to find the workaround. You got to think outside the box, and that's what I'm here for. To think outside the box.
Anything?
Sue Christensen, Veterans in Politics. How will you ensure that county-held tax funds investment portfolios are managed conservatively and ethically will you publish your performance reports?
The performance reports of
how well your investments are doing.
Oh, investments? Oh, yes, definitely. That'll be like the FOIU unit, the fraud, abuse, and waste. We'll probably do a real-time thing on that too, so you can see if it's losing, going up and down. how much money, where the money come from, where the money goes, because a lot of that money every month, interest is taken out, the money they make, and that helps go to different departments. And so as money comes in, money goes out, investment goes up, investment goes down. We're going to try to make it as real time as possible so people will know right away what's going on. They can look, oh, well, I'm bored today, so let me go to the Clark County Treasurer's Office, check out the investment fund, and see what's going on today.
Ray Ann Tobin on behalf of Nevada Veterans Association. As you know, you've mentioned the hostile work environment a couple of times. People don't adapt to change very well. What would you do day one and in the first 30 days to make changes to that hostile work environment?
Well, I plan to sit down with everyone and let them know what my plan is as treasurer. And this is my goals. This is what how the treasurer's office should be by the end of the year and my 4-year term. And, if you're part of it, welcome aboard. If not, we'll find another place for you in the county somewhere. No problem whatsoever. That's the best thing, because if you're not going to be happy, we don't want an unhappy person here. But if you want to be part of the team and part of our vision, then let's go for it.
My final. Steve Major, Veterans in Politics, registered Republican, right? Republican,
yes.
okay.
Yes, I'm the Republican nominee. I had no primary.
Some Republican candidates run on election integrity, right? The treasurer's office has zero role in elections. The register of voters does. I'd like to know, will you commit on the record to staying inside this office actual statutory lane and not using the treasurer's office as a megaphone for unrelated issues?
Give me an example.
Well, I mean, sometimes people tend to go into roles like this because they have another cause or a greater cause that they're trying to speak on, or maybe leverage their party's political weight.
Or future, like I want to run for Congress in 2 years or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Or I thought you maybe, like Mr. Y was saying, advocate for his rail system, but not like that. Other endeavors.
Well, and that's a good point. I mean,
like abortion or something.
How does the
like
treasurer's office have weight on the rail system? I mean,
it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't. A lot of things it doesn't have, specifically just like taxes, property tax, SIDS, investment. That's about it. I don't have any authority anywhere else. My authority is very limited as a treasurer as it is.
I just wanted to ground us back into reality with that. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go out there and I stay in my lane. I'm not going to go out there and pretend I'm a county commissioner and say, I'm going to make the laws like this. So I'm going to do whatever I want to with this money and you can't do anything about it. No, that's against the law. I don't break the law.
And then within your office, you spoke about AI. And Gary spoke about people. And I do agree that a lot of politicians do get away from the people aspect of it. So let's reverse that on the outside. You don't have people calling into the treasurer's office that are your constituents. Are you going to use AI as a fence or a blockade, per se, to annihilate that people relationship?
No, I don't want AI answer the phone. Okay. I want a person to answer the phone because I call and I don't. You go around and around and around. Like I said, AI might eliminate some jobs, but like those jobs could be answering the phones, be trying to find veterans that we can't find before we foreclose on their homes, trying to find seniors or people that are way behind, that we can't locate them. They can be used as other places to provide better customer service to one-on-one.
Thank you, Mr. Tracy.
You're welcome.
Tracy, you have survived being on the hot seat. Thank you so much for your candor and your attendance. We'd like to give you 1 minute to give your closing argument.
Yes. Thank you very much. My name's Mitchell T. Tracy. You can go to themitchelltracy.com. As you can see, I'm the only one here. The other two candidates were invited. We all made it to the general election. I showed up. I'm the only one that's going to show up every single time. If you need me, I'll be there. I have your back. There's things I like to do for this county to help out everyone, not just homeowners, but everyone. Because set an example in the Clark County Treasurer's Office and the way it's ran, hopefully will spread to other departments and they'll see what's going on. You know, this, even if you're not a homeowner, you're worried about fraud, waste, and abuse. And I'm going to implement a program that we're going to audit Clark County government and its agencies. And we're going to show you what's going on, what's been going on. I'm pretty sure you didn't receive any of that $735 million of COVID money that the county received back in 21 and 22. We like to know where that money's gone. So would you. I appreciate your vote in November in the general election. Mitchell T. Tracy for Clark County Treasurer. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate everyone.
Mr. Tracy, thank you for your time. Once again, we recognize and thank all of our sponsors, Judge Mary Perry, Clark County Court Family Division Department P, Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court Family Division Department S, Veterans in Politics, and Nevada Veterans Association, along with our additional sponsors, partners for their leadership, support, and dedication to the veterans and to the integrity of our non-judicial process. Thank you all for your professionalism, real respect, and participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.